having one of those days that I can't stop crying. I feel like if I keep waiting, I'll never get anything recorded. So I don't want to like share my whole Rudolph face. And I'm sorry that I have the sniffles. I don't blame you if you totally click off. But I mean, I just guess it's probably a good time to just share the journey, and because otherwise I just sit here and feel sorry for myself, which is like like the opposite of what I feel like I should be doing. And so I'm I guess I want to just keep talking and stop having like like daydreams that I'm going to get like a bunch of editing done with all of this still on my mind. So you know, I just have to meet myself halfway, and you know, and like be okay with it and just keep moving forward. And so that's all I've really known known how to do, known what to do, is just keep going. And you know, there's been a lot of times where that was outside, not knowing where I was gonna go and walking barefoot, carrying my shoes because I stole them from a secondhand store and they didn't fit. And those were horrible days, you know, and running into people that are similarly, like having a hard time. Like I found that together, like we could like figure out a way to, you know, get our needs met. And the world that is crazy, you know, like it's where I learned the darkness of people, you know, like, I mean, including myself, like the things, you know, and it's all of that knowledge that I have that allows me to help other people who are in the dark, you know, find a way out. And that doesn't mean that that anybody who has been a dark person, it doesn't mean that they are worthless because they were in the dark. And everybody has the capacity to love and give back and to work on I can't say it, like work on fixing things that my nose, hold on. Okay, I remember I was saying it doesn't mean something. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that they should be given up on. And there are behaviors in our society that have been normalized in the name of standing up for justice, and it's not, the things that they do are not just. And so right now we have a lot of hurt people hurting people, and I have totally been a part of it, and I hate it. I don't want to. Hold on. Okay. I'm really mad right now, and I cry when I'm mad. I'm really, really mad right now. And I have convinced myself that I don't deserve to get mad. And some of the things that we as a culture do that are really conflicting, that removes, oh, I got my nose. Hold on. Okay, it's things that remove space. So when I say, like, we need to hold space, we need to, like, leave room for people to get better and to, like, do good things, is that when we are acting along the lines of the programmed, this is okay because you're reacting to something that was, you know, like, horrible, or, you know, like, or unimaginable, I should say, you know, like doing unjust things because you feel like someone's done something unimaginable is very harmful. And one of the things that's been normalized is like being angry, which is, you know, a feeling, right? So, like, we've been told, like, you can't tell me. I lived by that for so long. Like, you can't tell me my feelings are wrong. And it's been really painful to learn that we live in a society where we don't actually, like, we don't extend that to people. We demand it, but we don't extend it. And so it's very harmful to people's ability to sort things out. Like, if we're talking, like, physically, like, in the brain, it's just hard to sort things. If we're talking, like, energetically, you know, like, it's just like a bombardment of so many different energies that that doesn't fit, it doesn't belong. And, you know, there's an evil that has placed it, that anybody who's reacting, that must mean, like, guilt, or there are things that can most definitely be applied to our feelings and provide some temporary relief, and anger being one of them. And you know, that's what keeps driving us further and further apart. And I know that that it's hard to be someone who's, like, actually forgiving, because people look down on you because of all of the normalization of the evil. And we, including me, it's like we only peel the layers back one at a time, and so we end up acting out in evil ways that we haven't really uncovered our evil. And it's important that we get started, you know, like, trust me, like, there's too much fucking harm going on around us, you know, like, it's just kind of magnifying. And so the only way that we're gonna be able to like get through this is people have to go through the uncomfortableness, we have to, and know that there are programmed responses that are gonna hurt, and that there are still going to be words that we have to share to let people get to the next layer. It's gonna sound stupid, and there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna say, that's dumb. So, like, not everybody's gonna get it. Sorry, my nose. Like, not everybody's gonna get it, and that's a really painful part, because that drives a wedge, and it makes it so uncomfortable that you want to, like, go back. And when you do that, it just kind of unravels things, because people just see it as, like, inconsistent, and but don't get mad at yourself, because I'm here to say, like, I guess it's kind of normal, and I have gotten pretty far with these onion layers. Maybe that's why it makes my eyes water. But like, it hurts to peel back the layers, and so there's going to be people who, especially when you haven't got very deep, it's going to be people who just want to, like, kind of, put that layer back on. And if you peeled an onion, I think it's a good analogy, like, those outer layers are pretty thin, and you probably could get away with peeling a layer off gently and putting it back on, and kind of looking like it's still normal. But, like, as you get closer to the center, those layers are getting, like, thicker and more rigid, like, there's a lot more water. And it's, I'm not entirely sure what's in the middle. I don't feel like I'm there. But it's like that part of the anonymous model that's helpful is, like, you don't have to be perfect to help someone else. You just have to be just a little bit ahead of them. And so, if we daisy chain, and, if we're a couple steps ahead of someone, or I should say, if there's someone a couple steps ahead of us, we know we can keep going. As long as there's just, we gotta keep having people who are, willing to do it. And I do not think, by any means, hold on a second. I hate this. Freaking leaky face. Okay, so yeah, we have to be realistic and, like, actually non-judgmental, which is I've found helps. I found it helps to use, like, humor and like, some of that self-deprecating humor that isn't too deprecating, like, I am still a child of God, and I am actively working on seeing my worth, and I don't think it's too bad to, like, kind of peek over the edge and remember, like, but still have to keep putting that in the past. And I've been struggling with that. I don't know why I just keep digging stuff up. And, all I can really think based on my own personal experience of like, what am I doing when things start working out? Like, where's my mindset? And it's like being able to put things in the past, also being able to remember them, and having forgiveness for myself that gives me room to be amazing and be an amazing parent and responsible person. We live in a world where we are constantly in denial about things, but we'll criticize people who are in denial. And so, needing to be upfront and forthright being forthright is similar to being blunt. But being forthright is being more mindful of other aspects, and being mindful of other people's emotions, which is another aspect. Like, you cannot, it's to go around in the world and look at people you encounter as, like, people who you don't need to worry about their input. You don't need, that is with some of the backward stuff. Because it does matter. That is an aspect. If we're going to be real about looking at life through energetic language, leaning one way or the other is always going to throw everything off, And so, like with the spark plug, if you know anything about spark plugs, it has to have a specific amount of room, a gap. It needs to, because the spark that's happening between that gap needs to be just right, just the right size, just the right, intensity. You don't want it to be too small, because then it's gonna be some teeny tiny, I'm over here, teeny tiny little, not big enough spark. If you make it too big, then it starts getting, you go past the good spot and it starts getting kind of weaker because it's being stretched. Oh, where am I? I'm using my hands. I just don't want you guys to see my Rudolph nose, okay? So, the aspects of others is that gap, or what's on the other side of that gap. And going around saying basically fuck other people and fuck their opinion and keep going anyways is wrong. I find it wrong. And from personal experience of failing so many times, it's that saying, you can, you just find other ways of not getting it right, basically, other ways of not. But there are really a lot of ways to do things, and I think we're being misled to think that there's some perfect way. There's not. There's no perfect way. So don't get mad at me when I make mistakes, because I'm not perfect. The reason why I've been stumbling and withdrawn is because I feel stupid. People are gonna think I'm so stupid. Who do you think you are? You're so dumb. Nobody cares. Nobody is gonna you're not gonna have that much of an impact on someone. So why are you even wasting your time or energy? It doesn't matter what other people think. Those are the things that get in my way, because there have been important people in my life that have told me, no, you're not supposed to care about what other people think. No, you're not supposed to. You're weak because you're letting other people's opinions get to you. But that's not I don't think that's true. I don't understand why. I keep trying and end up feeling like a complete failure. You know, feeling like I'm bringing misery to other people. It's possible. It's possible that there could be evil in the world that latches on to a child who's happy. Maybe it's a person, you know? Maybe it's a flesh and blood, you know, like physical evil, you know? Maybe it's energy evil that can only work through people who are lacking pieces that allow them to function in love. My freaking nose. Oh my god, hold on. I'm gonna guess that eventually I'm gonna get better at this. Like when I was going to anonymous meetings all the time and able to like sit up there and, you know, share. But right now I'm practicing, so like I already know that the programming, I already know all the programming. Like I was programmed the same, and so that's another thing that gets in my way, because I'm like, okay, like I feel really emotional, like I know that people are gonna be like, oh, well, this is like a manipulation tactic, and what is she, you know, like she's manipulating people. Like I get everything backwards. Like I'm not joking when I say that. Like I don't know why or how, but I get everything backwards. So I'm like, I'm worried about the end before it gets here, and I can imagine that there are people who would say, well, look, that's like a lack of faith, you know, and there's sorry, I got distracted by a notification from my sister. I was hoping to hear, but like, it threw me off. I just know that I need to keep going. I just need to finish this. I just know that, like, I don't think that I don't know what to think. I'm trying not to. I need to stop doing that, because that's where I get in trouble. Because I'm like, okay, people are gonna judge me, and they're gonna think I'm manipulating, and then, you know, like I hurt my own feelings when I do that. Like I'm like haven't even freaking like posted anything. Like my feelings are already hurt, you know, and it's my freaking self, and so I get stuck, and I'm like, okay, I could get out of this. I know I can, and then I'll have a breakthrough, and then I get, you know, I just fall back down into the sadness, and, you know, like that, it's a catch-22 where you have to like find compassion and forgiveness for yourself while also having the programming that's selfish and stupid, because look at all these things that you need to do. Like you know, like my organizational skills are not anywhere near other people's, And, you know, like, I am really aware of that. And, like, we as humans, me included, can just end up in a cycle. And I am not a human that is like so far removed. I'm not a guru. I'm just a broken, I'm like one of those like broken, you know, Japanese cups. It's like, I'm tired of people saying you're not broken. Don't say you're broken. I want to say, shut the fuck up. Okay, here. I'm not a guru. Okay, clearly. I'm pulling these things out of the air. And growing up, I don't know if maybe I'm backwards or if everything else is backwards, you know, like, I know one of the things that is programmed is like, don't ever say anything that's negative about your family. Like, that is horrible, and that keeps people stuck. And if there are 5 people in this world who are able to go around and puff up their chest and say, you shouldn't worry about what other people think or what other people say, and like, they're doing awesome, maybe it's not that realistic. Maybe it's not that realistic to be a person who can do things on a level where you're doing them without caring what other people think. I don't know how, it's hard for me to do that. It's really hard. So, there's always going to be a flip side, and that's like where, you know, I feel like the evil in the world uses perversion. Perversion is like twisting something, like making it like icky and like not good. Like taking something good and like making it icky. And I feel like that's like been I have to be real without worrying that people are gonna think I'm trying to be a victim. Like, that's been my reality. Like, things get perverted, and maybe that's yours too. I don't know. But so please don't think that I'm saying I'm special. Like, those are the things that are programmed. Like, the things that are programmed will be like, oh, what makes this person think they're so special? Like, oh, well, they must be saying they're a prophet, or like that they're Jesus or something like that. If they think that they're, you know, like important enough that maybe there is a pull for them to do or say something. Like, I think that there is plenty of gray area. There's plenty of room for there to be a different freaking explanation. And to go around always assuming that there's one explanation, this rigid, freaking negative explanation, is fucking bonkers, okay? It's fucking bonkers, okay? Just say it with my fucking chest, dude. Like, fucking. I've grown up around people who feel that they were able to make much better choices, and on the outside, that is totally what it looks like. Totally. Completely. When we're looking at the materialistic, you know, like bank accounts and stuff like that, like, that's not my strength, you know? Like, if we have we have a dinner-sized plate, world of needs, of needing, like, skills, but we're only given, like, a teacup worth of freaking, maybe more, like, but we'll say like a saucer worth of skills, and you're trying to put it on top of the plate. You want to cover the whole plate. You don't, like, you want the saucer in this instance, like when it comes to like our skills and like what the needs are. The needs are the plate, and the saucer are the skills. Like, maybe some people's saucers are bigger. I don't know, but when like there's a need over there, on that part of the plate, and I gotta slide my saucer over. There's like gonna be a need over that's, like not being covered anymore. So, it's my experience, and that's my explanation, my realistic explanation of how, like the energy in my life works, like why I can, or how it works that I can work so hard on, like strengthening an area. I can work so hard on strengthening an area, and then be like, okay, now I'm ready to focus on this other thing, and then all of the other stuff fall apart. And like we have a program that says that inconsistency means like a lack of care, but that's more of that perversion, like the enemy, like just wanting to take the wind out of our sails so we won't keep going. It's like, okay, well, it's not perfect, so you're a fucking loser, and you don't fucking matter, and like, and then we have these perversions of life. We have perversions of morals, and the perversion is being able to twist it, to take a moral and twist it, put it in a situation where you twist it and you're able to completely remove the application of that moral to parts of reality. I don't know, that might be a lot of words, but it's like being able to take a value, a moral, and throw a problem at it so that people wouldn't see the suffering on one side. And suffering is really not really the right word, because there's a lot of negative condensation. Sorry. Condensation in my nose. Oh my god, you guys, humor is gotta be like the elixir of life or something. But yeah, like twisting something, throwing enough at something so that it can be perverted. Like I have doubts about things in my life now because of signs, and signs that I ignored for a really long time. And while I was ignoring them, there was a sense of peace in my life. But at the same time, it's really weird because in that sense of peace, there was a sense of belonging, and the belonging was to a different group of people than I had been used to. And it feels like somewhere along the way, like that was perverted, like the perversion, like like the word pervert, like we think of like sexual weirdo, you know what I mean? Which is like, it definitely falls under the same definition. But like the word pervert comes from, like the perversion, like the meaning of perversion, which is like I said earlier, to twist something, to make it not not wholesome anymore. Like, and so, like, every person on this earth, has skeletons in their closet. And I don't really like that term in this sense, but it escaped my mouth. I'm gonna leave it. Maybe someday I'll edit things and make myself look like I just can talk all perfect but like right now there's too much of a mess. I have to get it out because holding it in because I'm worried that people are gonna think that I'm fucking grandiose or that I think that I'm fucking better than people and stuff like that is stupid, and it's fucking getting in my way. And like I started putting too much energy into like the material world that we're in, the parts where if we're just looking at it through the lens of just flesh and bones, like psychology is all about the squishy materials, like as if we have like a whole processor and hard drive and like we have all of that in there. That's like that's what I'm saying. Okay, like all of that is in here. All of my interactions with people are based on this, like I could look at that's like the material world. That's how I phrase that. And then there being an energetic definition is when I can see that my brain actually doesn't have that many parts in it. And so it's probably more likely that, like there's a server and I'm, like a smaller standalone machine that has the wireless technology. I mean, I think we all do, like when I look down at myself down here, because my eyeballs are down here because I don't want you guys to look at my nose and stuff. I look like a weirdo, but okay. And then I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, I think it's just that the energy is there's a lot more of it that's outside of us and we don't give it credit, and that's by design, like telling you that it doesn't matter what other people think leads you to fully see a separation between you and other people. That means that you fully, like feel like their thoughts and actions aren't going to affect you. But like even in the material world, I'm going to say that's absurd, okay? But like in looking at things energetically, that's even, like you could see like, wow, like that could really affect things, because if the air that we're in is the gap in the spark plug, and we are the people are the metal pieces, then like we just really have to be within a certain amount of distance, for the spark to work right, and we know that electrical signals, like we've been taught, or there are probably people here watching that weren't taught this, so I'm talking to the older folks, but we were taught that electrical signals, like the TV has to be plugged into electricity, and like we are learning that actually going back further than that, the telegram, we believed that the only way to communicate was through the wire. The wire had to be, and so like there was an operator that had a switchboard, and there was a bunch of holes in it, and like there weren't enough wires in the neighborhood for everybody to be talking at the same time. And so you would pick up the phone, and there was a time where you could pick up the phone and hear just anybody talking. And then they got it to where like you could ask to be connected to a specific person. And so the operator would literally have to like unplug a spot, and plug it in so that you guys were connected. And so there was still a need for like that physical freaking, connection. And so we finally one day learned about radio waves. Oh my goodness. I can only imagine, like, that was probably like mind blowing. Like, you don't have to use the telegram anymore, like, or telegraph. The telegraph sent the telegram. Okay. The telegraph was the wire in the machine, and the telegram was the message. Or sometimes somebody would do a singing telegram. That's why I remember that. But let me think here. And so with our brains, like, and physical reality and stuff, we look at things through, that lens of like, well, all of my thinking must come from the part that's plugged in. Like, it's got to be coming from the switchboard, like, and, I personally still do this thing where I'm like, okay, like, I got to unplug from this part to put it in this part, and I just said it earlier. Like, I'm just now thinking, oh, well, I wonder if that plate analogy is like actually would fit with this analogy, like, am I thinking that I need to move a plate, but I'm really unplugging something, like, do I need to unplug it? Like, so these are like, these are the things that I think about, but because I think that I was able to help people by explaining these visualizations, like these analogies that help people visualize what it could look or feel like to perform the thinking strategy or the, like the behavior strategy. And so, because when we're only going on the way we've been taught, like when they were all using the telegraph, they, that was their understanding. So if somebody came along and said, did you know I heard about this? There would probably be a lot of people that say no. And so, like, I know, okay, so I think I scrolled out, but with me and my sins and my transgressions, and like, when I look at things through the lens of I don't need to take accountability for anybody else's actions, like, it's all on me, like, I can't, like the idea that I'm going to own my part and they're going to own their part. And all of those things are kind of one of those concepts that I've been working through, because it's not really vibing, And so I'm like, I know I'll be able to find a way to explain it as soon as I figure it out. And so I think that there are probably people in my life who wonder, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I'm guessing because people don't talk to me anymore. And so usually that's a sign that people are avoiding. Avoiding you usually means avoiding conflict, because people only avoid conflict. And so I'm not saying, okay, so this is the thing, is like, just because people are avoiding conflict doesn't mean that it necessarily is you. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you specifically are going to be doing the conflicting. It could mean that somebody else outside of it is doing it. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, if I'm going through life with the mentality that I'm completely separated, and that's how I got in this mess today, is that I feel very removed from people. I've been really working on dissecting that. And I think it's just messy because I found responsibility for all of my parts, and as ugly and horrible as it was, and I found a way to help other people, and to be realistic without fear of thinking that people are gonna fucking think that I'm playing the victim. I have absolutely noticed a pattern. And that pattern is that I am hurt and I run away from a situation or something, and with my tail tucked, I accept defeat in feeling like the world is against me and wanting to fight for my power and my place because that's what the world has told me. And then I finally get to where it's like nobody trusts me. Nobody's like just giving me any kind of feedback, you know? Like, people will say, oh, she wants attention. No, I want feedback. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you saying that I want attention? Like, I mean, on some level, everybody does. So, like, well, I mean, you could say that about anybody. Like, and so, those things, like, echo in my mind. And I'm like, okay, like, it's echoing because, yes, it's affecting me. But I've learned, like, it's echoing because somebody else is about to go through it. Okay, so after I run away, I'll see somebody else go through it. And then, you know, like, how did that fucking help anybody? Didn't. And then whatever they just went through, they are now in the place where I was. And so they're hearing stories about me that are going to be being portrayed by somebody who is abusing them. Make it make sense. But because you're being abused by them, it gets instilled in you. You're a dog that's being beat. Like, so you're being abused by someone who's using the name of somebody else or something. Like, it happens. Like, that's where, like, that material freaking, I feel like there's a material connection that happens in our freaking brain. Or I don't know, if I think about it energetically, maybe it's a what do you call it? A port, you know? Maybe like a specific port gets opened, and like now you, or I would say like, oh yeah, now you, the person who has left to escape the abuse, you are associated with the abuse. And so that, I feel like that is, you know, like you as a person, you feel defeat because you're like, what in the fuck? And so you go off and you find another community, another life, something else, and things go great. And then they don't. And now that I'm even saying this, I'm like, is it the original? Is it the original that just keeps like catching up? Are we doing Caterpillar here? Like, have I been thinking that it's just all, like, there's so many assholes in the world, but are there just only a handful? I don't, like, I need to be real, and I'm not crying now, so I'm, thank God, I still have a road up nose, but, like, I don't want to cry about it. I don't want to fucking feel sorry for myself. I want to be freaking able to like stand up for myself and not feel like everybody's gonna think that I'm feel sorry for myself, and like, because that in itself is feeling sorry for myself. It's like fucking crazy mind fuck that they put some of us in, and I don't know who they are. Who, if they are watching, I don't even know what to think about you right now. I don't even know, because I really want to just still lead with love and forgiveness and stuff like that. But like, clearly that doesn't work for you. And I'm coming to a realization, because I have a different reading. I read things differently when I look at the energy of things. And I'm not saying I see little freaking things that you would see in a movie or freaking TV or anything like that, okay? It's like when they say follow the money. You go and you look at the records or the books or what, you know what I mean? That you follow the money. You look at this connects to that, okay? When I'm following the energy, I'm looking at that person's behavior, that this event happened after this person's behavior. Okay, this event, okay, then you zoom out. Okay, this event happened after these people, that person's behavior was that person's behavior was that person's behavior was that, okay. Then you look at another event and you're like, okay, well, these people were there and that person's behavior was that person's behavior was that. You know, like it's kind of like, I mean, that's not paranoia, okay? That's not, there are mind fuckers out there who will tell you that's paranoia. That's not paranoia, okay? This is critical thinking. And just because you put someone's fucking name, someone who supposedly fucking loves you, just because you put their fucking name into the hat of what ifs, does not mean that you are a bad person. It does not mean that you are evil. It doesn't mean that you don't have faith in them. It doesn't mean that you, any of those things. It doesn't mean those things. It means that you are a smart person who's being realistic. And I would hope that the person that you're around, like if they are not the abusive one, if they are not being abusive, they would say, yeah, that makes sense. I would wonder the same thing. Like, yeah, like it should not be outside of someone's scope or perception, or what's the word, that they will be a suspect in a crime if they are nearby. But there are certain people, and they tell them themselves, and that's where I have gotten, and that's why the people who fall prey to, oh, so-and-so is fucking this way or that way, because you get to know the energy of people, like you see it, like people tell you who they are. That's what that means when they're like, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. And I have been really, 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 really good at ignoring it. I'm really good at that. And so hopefully by me speaking up about the parts that I see, even though I still am sometimes bamboozled, okay, maybe I will find a community of like-minded people. But the way that my life has been, and again, this is not like to feel sorry for myself, but like, it just really feels like, you know, like the whole like shadow ban thing happens, or like, you know, like I'm not saying that I've been consistent in anything, because that will definitely pop up. Well, you're not consistent, blah, blah, blah. But there are things that it's just outside of social media, outside of things, like it's just patterns in life. And, you know, like walking away from people because I see their patterns was never meant to be something that would be noticeable. Like in the moment, I was just trying to preserve myself, you know, and we all do that, okay? But it's a matter of what are you gonna do for your self-preservation. So don't be coming for people because you notice that they have a self-preservation, a desire for self-preservation. But then what do you say? Like, how do you perceive it? You know, like if you're saying someone is being manipulative because they want to preserve their integrity, that it kind of cancels out the integrity, right? And so if you say, well, no, let's just stick with that. Like, my mind is going back to, yeah, just getting in trouble for thinking things or questioning things. That's what abusive people do. And then they also say that don't talk to that person because they'll just play the victim, or maybe like they'll, God, I don't even know all the things. I just know that when you're the one that's on the side of knowing that people's attitudes have changed, so hence like the energy has changed, like it creates a bunch of different responses that everybody's been trained to look for as being faulty. So it's created a very uneven playing field, which is, I mean, it really shouldn't be a playing field, but if that's where we're at, like, it's uneven, it's unlevel, like, it's, so you have a system where the bad people have nailed down a psychological norm where they choose who to pick on. They choose who to pick on. They decide who it's going to be. They decide, I mean, I'm afraid that there might be situations where they decide what the offense will be. They know that they can get away with it because they know that specific accusations and specific outside pressures will result in responses that are desired for specific outcomes, I believe. I believe it's been nailed down that well. Like, I feel like I have seen and felt myself fall into some very specific freaking traps. So, so actually, I'm going to do the what if game coming up next. Okay, bye.